Hey everybody, Dan back here with you from Dan's Tri-Five Garage. Just thought I'd check in with you, give you a little update of what we've been doing on this window delivery. I've been picking away at the chassis a little bit, so I've been trying to get the mechanicals of this thing done. I really haven't got a chance to get back on the body yet, but I really wanted to get all the mechanical stuff done before we get that body on. But I thought I'd stop in tonight and do a couple little projects with you, kind of show you what we've been getting done a little bit here. So basically been getting the carburetors all set up, got some new air cleaners like I said I was going to. These are made by O'Brien Truckers, turn out to be, they're really nice looking. I like how those look. A lot better than the big oval one that they give you with this. Got the fuel rate or the fuel log all set up. All the carbs are all adjusted and the progressive front and rears are all set up. So now I think what we're going to work on is we're going to work on getting this low car kickdown cable set up, because these you actually do have to cut and adjust to your whatever your specifications are. These are a little bit standard. I mean, you usually don't have to cut much off of them because it's just a kickdown cable for a turbo 350, but like versus like a throttle cable, you know, that could be anywhere from 3 feet to a few inches, you know, depending on what you got. But I thought I'd go through that with you a little bit today. Maybe if we have time we might I got this stuff too, you know, the transpan and the flywheel cover. Might try to get that stuff on, and then maybe if we get time, finish one of these fuel lines. Now, I don't know if you guys have ever used AN type fittings and hoses, but that's what I usually use on all this stuff. I just like how it looks, and it's a lot cleaner, and then you don't have, you know, hose clamps and stuff like that all over. But that's what these are here. I already started making the one, or I should say I did make the one that adapts to the original fuel line here. So if you see this, so that's a you know, regular inverted flare nut to an AN6 adapter running into a fuel filter, and then like I said, this is all a custom made line, and then we'll make the one that goes from here up to there. So I just think they look pretty slick when they're all done. Little update on the subscriber numbers. So we're getting really close. So we're at 960 subscribers, and I gotta thank somebody, and that's Don over at Don's Hot Rod Garage. He really did me a big favor. He gave me a shout out on his channel, and boy, the subscribers just started rolling in. So any of you guys that have come from Don's, welcome. I hope you enjoy the channel. Any other you guys that have subscribed, you know, not through Don's, but I appreciate you guys too. I hope you enjoy what I do here, and I like making these videos for you. So I don't see me ever stopping doing this, so they're just going to keep coming out. But Don, thanks buddy, you know, I appreciate it. If I can ever do anything for you, you just let me know. He's got a couple of, like 4 of them. He's got some pretty nice 55 convertible he's working on, if like you guys have never checked out his channel. He's got what, a 57 Nomad, a 55 Nomad. He's got some pretty nice cars that I'm pretty jealous of. So that's of the Tri-Fives, those are my 2 dream cars. There's a 55 convertible and a 55 Nomad. And out of all the Tri-Fives that I've had, I've never had either one yet, but we'll get there. So anyway, this is what we've gotten done. You know, I started getting all the accessories on. This power steering pump is kicking my butt. This is the second set of brackets I've had on this, and what I can't figure out is my 55, my gray and white one, and my 39 Chevy I built. They both have these exact style brackets. They're pretty standard. I have bought 2 sets now. I kind of cheaped out because the first set was like 25 bucks, but I bought it, stuck it on, would not line up. So I thought, well, you get what you pay for, right? So I bought another one. It was like 60 bucks. Still a knockoff, but I bought it from the same company that I got the alternator bracket from, and that one lines up just perfect. Still don't fit. So what do you do when something doesn't work? Put the tools down and go to the next project. At least that's what I do, because otherwise I get fed up. So yeah, so I kind of put that on pause, try to finish all the rest of this stuff, and generally what happens with me is as soon as I do that and I come back, it falls into place like it's supposed to. So I might have to do a little bit of trimming and stuff like that. I'm sure I did that on the other 2, but we'll get it to work. But really, that's the only real hang-up I have on this thing right now. And then I'll take you down back. I think I'll show you what we're going to do for some rest of the parts on this delivery here. So let's go check that out. All right, we're in the back shop. what I think I'm going to do, this 56-210 here, I think I am going to rob the hood and the radiator core support, because this is a 6-cylinder core support. Now when I got that window delivery, it had a core support in it, but it was a V8 core support, and it's a little rough. But the big reason why I want to pull this one out is because this is a 6-cylinder core support. And I don't know if a lot of you guys know or not, but when you stick a V8 in here with a long water pump, which is it's the more common water pump. It's not a flat water pump or pancake pump like the old 265, 283s, 327, stuff like that had. You don't really have room to have the radiator on the inside of the core support. So a lot of guys, what they do is they run a V6 or a straight 6 core support and then just run the hose, you know, over, and it gives you a lot more room. So that's what I'm going to do on this one, because I want to pull that out, get it all cleaned up, and I have a nice Griffin radiator I'm going to put in that window delivery. That way I can start it up before the body's on the frame, make sure everything runs good, and that'd be a cool video for you guys. We'll start it together for the first time and make sure it runs good, or it'll blow up, one of the two. So yeah, so we're going to use a lot of parts off this car for that car over there. Okay, so now I have the old kickdown cable out of the transmission. Now these are fine, I mean they work. This is exactly what I've got on, let's see, my 55 has one of these original ones. I guess my 39 is actually the one I was talking about that has these on them. But you know, they're still adjustable and everything, but I just like how these low car ones look, and they're a little bit more universal. But so I have that one out, I've got the new one in, and like I was saying, they obviously are, I mean, you'll see how long that is. I mean, we definitely don't need that much, but the reason they're cut to length is because if this is a standard, just a regular 4-barrel carb setup, you know, it'd probably be way up here. But so the low car brackets, they come set up for these cables and everything. But what you have to do now is at the end of this cable, you've got a ferrule. And what you're going to do is you're going to push that all the way down so it's loose. And you're going to just kind of decide where you want it. And in this case, probably going to make it about, just about like that. So you got a little bit of slack. And what I do, because like I said, this is braided stainless steel, so when you cut it, it's going to want to unravel. So what you do is you're going to, this ferrule goes in here, you're going to mark it right about where you want to cut it, which is going to be right about here. Slide that down, wrap some tape around it. And you got a good marked line, and the tape kind of helps keep it from unraveling. Black tape works better, but apparently I don't have any here. Alright, so now we know where we need to cut it. Right about there. Alright, cut. So, now I was showing you before, that ferrule, the reason why you want to slide that down is because if you don't, you can see that's stainless braided, you will never get that ferrule back on there without a lot of problem anyway, and some sore fingers. So now if we unwrap this tape, be really careful because it will start, I don't know if you can see that or not, but it is already starting to unravel. But that's why you leave this on, because when you do that, you can actually pull this up just about like that, and that holds everything in place. One other very, very important thing, always remember to pull your inner cable out first. Ask me how I know. When I did my 39, the throttle cable, not the kickdown, because that's got a turbo 400 in it, so that's electric. But anyway, I had to shorten the cable. Measured it all out, cut it, realized the cable was in there. Ordered another cable. I don't know why, but I stuck it in to make sure it was going to be the right length. Cut it again, because I actually bought a whole new setup, not just the cable. But after that, then I realized you could buy new inner cables. So 2 times I did that. I don't know what I was thinking, but that one cost me quite a bit of money because these aren't cheap. All right, so now what we do is we're going to stick this back in place. This will go back in this ferrule now, and then we can hook up the bottom of the kickdown cable and start running the link, or get the length right. The carbs have to be wide open throttle, and this cable has to be pulled as tight as possible, and that's the correct adjustment for it. So let's see if we can't do that. Okay, so the cable's now mounted in the trans. See, now you can see how much longer this cable is than we're actually going to need. So now what we can do, like I say, that'll go in there now. So we'll kind of fish that through there. And what you do is this bracket will bump just about halfway, so you got some adjustment. Pull that on through. And now this ferrule will go in here just like that, and we'll have plenty of room. So now we have to change this stud out right here, because the kit does come with that. This is your this is what's going to go on the end of the cable here. So we'll have to take that out and replace it with this. So let's get that swapped out. Alright, got that swapped out. Now behind here, that is where your return springs are going to hook. So make sure you tighten it up, tighten enough to be tight, but loose enough for that to swing to hook up the springs there. Alright, so now what we have to do, this has to be pulled tight as you can, wide open throttle, but you need 3 hands to do that, so I'm going to have to see if I can enlist one of the kids to come out here and help me. So we'll see who we can find, if anybody. Okay, I found 2 helpers. These are my boys. This is Dylan and this is Logan. Okay, Bubba, what you're going to do when I tell you, I want you to pull this cable tight, okay? Say hi, everybody.
Hi.
And you,
hello,
Dylan.
Everybody.
Okay, what you're going to do, we're going to open these carburetors. We're going to push it all the way back like this, okay, as far as we can go.
So just this one?
Yep. And then well, this one here actually, like that. Okay?
Okay.
I'm going to put the camera up and then we're going to do it. Okay, Bubba, you pull tight that way. You got that all the way down, buddy, as far as it'll go? Okay, now we're going to slide this up and we're going to make it really tight.
I think I'm pulling the whole car.
You might be. Got it tight? Pull as far as hard as you can?
Yeah.
You got it tight? Okay. We're going to tighten this down now. Okay, you can let go. You can let go. Now, everybody,
What?
that's set. Because now when we go to wide open throttle, it's going to pull our throttle or our kickdown cable nice and tight.
Yeah.
Okay, good job, boys. All right, so it's all hooked up. Now the only thing left to do is to cut that excess off about that far. But I think we'll wait to do that till we make sure everything's done. So now, wide open throttle, we'll pull that kickdown cable out as far as it'll go.
That's what I did.
Mm-hmm. Yep, you did that part.
Bye.
So I do have the matching throttle cable for this, but obviously that we can't do anything with until the body's on the frame, because that anchors into the firewall, and I'm gonna have to actually get a low car throttle cable or throttle pedal for it, like I got for the hardtop over there. I didn't really think about that because otherwise you just use the original style that bolt to the floor, but when you're using a cable style you really can't use that. So I should probably get that ordered up. But now I think what we'll do is we'll move on and we'll make this throttle, or I can't talk tonight. We'll make this fuel feed hose, and I'll show you how to put those AN fittings together on these. Alright, so here's where we're going to put these AN fittings together. And now what I use is, they've got a special aluminum wrench and these jaws that clamp in your vise so they don't mar up your aluminum, so it'll make them look nicer. But what we're going to do is these fittings, the end of these thread off like this. Come on. And the end of this will actually go onto the end of your braided stainless hose there. And then you'll put a little oil on that and thread that down, and that locks that in tight so it will not leak. That's fine threads. This is going to take forever. Here we go. Alright, so there's the ends of it. Now, like I was telling you earlier on that low car stuff, you can see how that, as soon as you cut that cable in, or the braided stainless steel starts to separate and flare out. So same thing, what you're going to do on this, like you see in the package, they've got a little tape wrapped around the end. So we're going to put our first one on. We're just going to see if we can get that end on there. You kind of got to work these in a little bit. And as soon as you get that butted up flat, you can clamp it here, and we'll run that down. So let's see if we can't get that done. Alright, let's get this bag opened up. Smooth this hose out. I've got so many strands or half rolls of this stuff all over the place that I just bought this roll. And because I couldn't find the other roll that I thought I had, I got it in and I found the other roll at my other house. So I have plenty of it. Okay. Now one of these days you might see a video by me that's called Dan Cleans His Garages, but that's not going to be today. I have so much stuff around here, see? I just caught myself on the edge of that. This stuff is sharp and pokey. Alright, so now what we're going to try to do, like I said, unfortunately that is kind of taped up a little bit there. But we are going to have to try to get this on the end of that. And it can be a chore sometimes. Because as soon as I take this tape off the end, it's going to start wanting to unravel. Now a lot of guys use, like I say, black tape and just leave it on there, but it just seems to me like it's harder to get it on there then. Alright, so I got the tape off, and you can see already it's starting to flare out. So, and I can feel right there a little bit of piece hanging off there. That got me already. And it does not feel good. Alright, so we kind of got to muscle this in there. Kind of push the ends in as we go. But it can be kind of irritating to get this stuff in there. See, and then the more you work with it, the more apart it wants to come. As you push down on it, it starts to split it out. Alright guys, so here's what happened. So, I went into the house last night. This is the next day after filming this, what you just watched. And went to edit the videos, and for some reason, everything you've seen after everything I filmed after what you just saw, I had no audio for some reason. You could see me talking, but it was like a silent movie, so I didn't figure you'd probably want to see that. But I will show you what I ended up doing. So that braided stainless hose I had from Jegs, for some reason I could not get that stuff to cooperate at all. I tried every trick, tape, worm clamp, everything, but that stuff, I don't know if the tolerances were out of spec or if I just got a bad roll, but I've never had that stuff where I could not get it to work. But what I ended up doing, because I had some of this here already, is I had some, it's the same type of hose, but instead of having a stainless steel braiding, it actually has, it does have stainless steel in it. It's metal reinforced hose, but it has a braided like polyester coating. So I ended up actually making it with that. So I used the same ends, because you can use, you know, whatever kind of hose you want with this, but this, if you see, it's still a braided hose. And actually, I kind of like the look of that better, because it does actually match, you know, it's going to match the black Kickdown cable and the throttle cable. So I'd hoped to show you how to put those together, but I guess that'll have to save for another video. But yeah, like I said, they just thread together. This stuff does push it together a lot easier than the stainless stuff, and it doesn't prick your fingers. So if you don't want to have that, you can go with this stuff and it'll be a lot better. But what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to run over to Bill's real quick, and I am going to show you his car, since we've never done that before. Show you kind of some of the stuff we've done, and we've been working on his interior a little bit, so we're going to do some of that tonight. So let's get over there. Alright guys, so I'm over at Bill's house, neighbor behind me. I've been telling you guys I've been working, helping him work on his 55 wagon he's got here. So I was going to show this to you guys today, since we've done a pretty good amount of work to it. So this is a 55 210 4-door wagon, and Bill inherited this from a friend of his down south, and it was painted quite a long time ago. It's been taken apart for quite a while. It's got a rebuilt, it's actually a 283 out of like a 65 Chevy, I believe. And it originally had the original cast iron intake and the Rochester, the old 4-float carburetor. But when we got it running, because it had never even been fired after being rebuilt years ago, that old carburetor just leaked gas everywhere, and just to simplify things, we ended up just putting this intake and carburetor on it, and runs great. So we converted it. The distributor, we put a Pertronics ignition in that, so it's got electronic ignition now, so he doesn't have to worry about points. So that makes that a little bit more dependable and less maintenance anyway. But yeah, so I've been working on this lately, getting the door panels on, because it did come with a full brand new interior kit that Bill's buddy bought a long time ago. And we put a painless wiring harness in it, because I think I mentioned that before, that when we looked at it, there wasn't even a fuse block in it. So this thing's been wired front to back. We just got to tidy up a lot of these wires, because this was a, what was it? What did we say? A 24 circuit, I think? 27 circuit harness, yeah. So, which we didn't need the majority of those circuits, but it is the right one for the 55, 56 Chevy. Actually 7, because this kit actually comes with everything to do 5, 6, or 7. It comes with all the adapter harnesses. So, but we got it all wired now, and so really now all that's really left is putting the interior together. And Bill's got new covers for the seats and stuff, and brand new seat foams we've got over here. That Bill's got he's got the covers stripped off, so we got these laying out over here. So we're just getting ready to recover those with the new foams. Here's some of the new foams there. But let's see, yep, all new seat covers and everything. We just got to get that work done. And this has got the original Power Glide in it. Brakes have all been done on it. And like I say, all the trim and everything was on it already, but pretty much we just got to finish putting the interior together now, since it seems to be running good and everything. Have you started it today, Bill?
No.
No. Maybe we'll start it a little bit later here and let you see it running. Yeah, I think it's going to be a pretty nice car. It's a nice car already, but it'll be pretty nice when it's all together.
Yeah, I'll crank it up.
Yeah. Let's see if it fires up here. Fires right up now. Runs good. Got a gripping radiator in it with electric dual fans, so those turn on like they're supposed to, so that's all good. So
they did put front wheel disc on this too.
oh, this does have disc on it. Okay,
Yeah.
I guess I never even looked.
Yeah.
Well, that's right. So
Got a conversion kit.
yep. So really not too much, and it should be pretty much roadworthy. So, alright. Thought you guys might like to see it. Okay, so the door panels, if you notice here, the original doors had these, they're door panel nails pretty much is what they are. So when you got to put these on, if you notice here in the door, you can pretty much see where they used to be. There's like a small indent where the nail got driven in. When you go to put your aftermarket door panels on, or your originals even, make sure you line those up and be real gentle because they're not very forgiving. You smack them hard enough, they'll break right off. And there's actually a metal strip all the way down in here too, so
Holds it.
yeah, that holds it in place. So see if Bill can get that lined up. And you usually got to trim out around the window crank and the door handle and all that kind of stuff. But there you go. And a lot of times you do have to kind of bend the nails a little bit to get them in place. Just kind of. See that, how they kind of stick in place there. Okay, so now you can see we've got these, your nails are just kind of started there. So you just kind of want to get them, just the tip of them in started because they got little edges to them. But after that, you just kind of give them a good smack. And that one you can see is kind of angled up a little bit, so just want to be careful because if you do them too hard, they're going to bend and they're going to break. Take your time, go a little at a time. Okay, just like that. And then what you end up doing at the bottom corners, you have a trim screw that you drill a hole right on each corner, right about here. And then you run those screws in, and that'll hold the bottom corners.
You can show them on the back door.
Let's see.
I got those in.
Oh, did you get those ones? Yep. Yep, just like that. So there's your little trim screws that you put in the bottom corners there. Alright guys, now let's switch gears a little bit and let's get into some parts identification. So what I'm going to go over with you today is specifically 55 Chevy heaters. I think I've showed you some of the heater knobs and stuff like that in one of the old videos, but what I'm going to go over today is the different style heaters they had. Now they did have an air conditioning setup, which I do have. I'll have to get it out and I'll show you here. I do have a control head so I can show you what that looks like. But the two main heaters that you would have in a 55 Chevy, and this is the one that you see most often. Most of these have, this is what they call the deluxe heater with the chrome face to it and the four levers. And this heater box is actually the same as a 56 Chevy, and same with the control head. They are actually a little bit different. A 56 Chevy control head, there's a big plug that you can plug into the back for the fan switch and stuff like that, where a 55 just has a couple of leads that you plug in. But yeah, that's the basic, or I should say the fancy heater that most people have. Now this heater is what they call the recirculating heater, and this was the cheapy heater. A lot of people say, you know, this is the 150 heater, which it's true. A lot of 150s do have the recirculating heater, but you could get this in a Bel Air if you really wanted to. It just really depended on what area of the country you're from. I've heard a lot of the warmer states and stuff that use these a lot because they didn't really need you know, the fancy heaters with defrost and all that. So here is the main difference in the boxes. So as you can see, the deluxe heater, you've got an actual cable that goes inside, and there in that heater box there's actually a water shutoff valve. So when you're driving down the road, you push the lever over and it closes the valve and shuts off the flow of coolant, so you don't have any coolant running through it. Now on this style here, you actually don't have a valve inside this heater case, meaning that if you were to hook up a hose to both sides of the outlets of the heater core on this, you're going to have a constant flow of coolant through it. And I misspoke earlier. These both do have defrost, but they're operated in different ways. That one uses a cable. This one, you got a big lever here. You just kind of flip it up to go from the floor to the defroster. But anyhow, what they had on this style is out under the hood there was actually a valve you'd have to shut off during your warmer months, and it would actually stop the flow of coolant, because a lot of guys, they don't realize this, but if you put that cheapy heater, I call it a recirculating heater, in your car, without that valve you're going to constantly have coolant running through it, and it's going to bleed heat off. So I've seen a lot of cars at car shows where they have that in there, but they forget to put that valve in, so then it heats up the interior, you know, when you're driving it in the summertime. So if you're going to use that, remember to put that valve out under the hood. They do make a valve. It's not the exact same one, but it works just the same. The other thing is that is your recirculating heater control for a 55. And all this is really an on-off switch that ran the fan. I think you had 2 speeds on this. And that's pretty much it. That's why it's only got the one knob. A 56, which we'll do in another video, has 2 different knobs, and I'll show you what the difference is in that. That's why the actual case in a 56 it looks just like that, because it has a cable running into it and everything, where this one has the lever for the defrost. You actually control the defrost on the 56 recirculating heater with a control head, but we'll get into that later. Okay, now that is a heater control head for 55 or 6. Technically this is 56 because it has the plug in the back. But that is a air conditioning heater, and AC in this case, control head. So that's the differences. They had a 3rd knob in the middle, and these are pretty rare. This is the only part for an original air conditioning unit that I have, because there's a lot of different pieces for those. You know, even the V8s, I think, if I remember right, they had their own special in 55 oil filter canister that was for air conditioning only. That's very hard to find and very expensive. That's why you very rarely do you see a complete original working air conditioning unit on a Tri-5. I'd love to have one, because I'm kind of I like that original stuff, like you guys know, but it's just hard to track all that stuff down. But a lot of guys, and myself included, I'm gonna maybe try to figure out a way to put this in my hardtop just for looks, because I am going to put air conditioning. It's going to be vintage air, but I have the original aftermarket factory style ducts that you cut holes in the dash, and they go on the very ends, but we're going to put those in there. So I'm going to see if I can't use this, because Vintage Air, they use the original control head and put some adapters on the back, but use the original control head for air conditioning, but you use the original deluxe heater instead of the air conditioning unit, because these are super hard to find, super rare. So they use what most everybody has. So, but anyway, so that's what I have for you for tonight. Just going to show you a couple things here. This is part of the reason why I have so many parts laying around here. Like I said, the reason I put this car together is because I have a whole bunch of stuff laying around that I wanted to get off the floor, off the shelves, stuff like that. Perfect example of how I get all this stuff. So I originally bought this distributor for this engine. I thought, you know, I knew an HEI wouldn't fit, so I thought I would get a small bodied HEI, not taking into account for that module. I tried to drop that in here, and there is no way that was going to fit in this car. you know, technically it would sit like that, but I'm pretty sure that would probably have hit the back of the firewall. So I ended up buying a Protronics flamethrower to put in this thing, and that's what's in there now. And you can see how close that is, but I do have just enough room to advance and retard that timing if I have to. So actually, now I got the plug wires on it. I got to get some looms to make it look a little bit better. But short of a few small things, I got to put I got a thermostat in it now. I got to put, you know, water fittings on it and put some belts on it. And like I say, I got to get that figured out. But really, I can start this thing anytime now. So hopefully pretty soon we'll do that and we'll make a video of that. And I'm hoping it's going to run. It should. But yeah, that's where we're at now. Getting pretty close. But all right, guys. So that's it for this video. I'm going to go in and edit it. Hopefully I have sound this time. Again, Don's Hot Rod Garage. Check his channel out. Thanks for the shout out. I appreciate it. Appreciate all you guys that have subscribed with Don's recommendations, and all you other guys that have subscribed just on your own. I appreciate every one of you guys. So, and any of you new guys, if you haven't, you just see my content, my channel. If you like my videos, like and share. Tell your buddies. I'd appreciate it. We're getting close to 1,000. I think there's like 31 subscribers I need left to get to 1,000. So we're going to get there and we're going to give away $100. So, all right, guys, I appreciate it. Have a good night, and we'll see you next time. Bye.